So hello, I'm Debs and this is Debs Made This and you're very welcome here. Now, I'm doing some outfit planning and I thought I might bring you along because I know how you like that sort of thing. So, it's only a couple of weeks until the Welsh Frocktails is occurring and we have a little posse going from Harrogate all the way across to Aberystwyth. We're very, very excited. We've got an Airbnb booked. And nearly everybody else has got their garments made, but you know, never one to be thoroughly planned in advance. I thought I would start to toss about some ideas for what a person might wear to such a prestigious event. So I think I've got about 10 ideas to share with you. Now, patently, I am not going to make all of these up. I've started toiling a couple of them, and I have a couple already made that could work as well. So I thought we'd have a little adventure, if that's all right. So when I'm starting to think about an event like this, I kind of start to think about what I need to be able to do. So we need to be doing some dancing, we're going to be doing some eating and some drinking and some exploring of very fancy museums. So the Aberystwyth Frocktails is held in a museum and you're allowed to go and explore, which is very exciting. Well, I think it's very exciting. But yes, so the outfit that I need to choose has got to be something that I can move about in and be comfortable in. I'm not one for having an outfit that I can't flounce about in. Option one is the fancy frock. And I have kind of a couple of two different options of this. So the first fancy frock is a kind of flouncy, frilly frock. And sorry, I'm all over the place. And so what I have in mind for this is the Magnolia dress. Now, I have made this before. I made it for a party that I went to around the time that I was 50. It wasn't my 50th birthday party, but I went to my cousin's wedding celebration. And so I'll put a picture if I can find it. It was in a leopard print, teal leopard print, and I did the version with the flutter sleeve. And I spent a long time getting the bodice to fit well, and then I didn't like the dress at all. And in the end, I gave it away very quickly afterwards. And I probably could have taken the sleeves off and I could have done all sorts of things, but I had no patience left. You know how that goes sometimes. So the Magnolia is very much still on my to make list, mostly because of a picture in. There's like the stock photograph of this has got like a dark floral on, and it's such a nice looking dress. It's really, really nice. So the fabric that I have that is ready for this is this Lady McElroy cotton lawn. I think it's called Kingdom of the Cat, and I've had this for quite a long time. I think I've written down how long I've had it for, probably not. I think I got it December 2021. So it has been sitting around for quite a long time. I've got 3.5 meters, so that should be enough, even with the long skirt and the long sleeves. And it's really nice. So, and it's not too tweed, you know what I mean? When you've got like a dress with long sleeves that's got long skirt, you have to be a bit careful with the print because it can end up looking a bit a bit dull, I think, maybe. And I don't want kind of too much of a pattern. So yes, that was the one that was kind of floating at me. So what do we think about that one? That's number one. And the Dear and Dale Magnolia has been around for years. It's now been taken over by Closet Core, and it comes in a 34 to a 62 size, which goes up to about a 58-inch bust. I think the finished garment size I've written down is a 60-inch bust. So that's much better than it has been. But obviously I had the previous catastrophe to get past. Now the second kind of frock that I have is one that I already had made, and I shall show you this. I'll put in a picture because this has just come out of the summer box, so it is fairly creased. But this is the Fibremood Nina. And I made this 2 years ago, I think, to go to the gathering, and it has 96 pin tucks on the bodice, and it took quite a long time to make, and it has only been worn a couple of times. So that is certainly a possibility to be worn again and to be enjoyed again, because it is a super dress. It has this very open back, which kind of is all the drama, and these lovely, lovely sleeves. And I really enjoyed wearing it when I wore it before. As I say, I shall put a picture in. So that is another option for a fancy frock. Now, the next kind of fancy frock that I have on my radar is something was the reason that I joined the Closet Core crew. So this is a Closet Core crew pattern called the Mica. I shall insert the picture, and it's really nice. It is kind of cut away, so almost racer back style bodice. It's button closure. It's got an A-line skirt. It's very sleek, and I really want to make this. I'm just not sure if I'm going to feel fancy enough in it. I think it's very elegant, so I'm presuming that's why I'm leaning towards it. Now, I have a couple of options fabric wise, but this is the one that I have to hand. I couldn't find the other one that I have in my brain. But this is cotton sateen, a very crinkled, sorry, it shouldn't be, it should be very flat, but it's just come out of the box. Cotton sateen in this deep teal colour, which I think is a really good colour on me. The only concern that I have, because this is completely plain, is that my stitching is going to have to be absolutely on point with such a simple, it's like simple fabric, simple dress. Everything's going to have to be done to perfection, isn't it? But yeah, I'm really keen on doing this regardless. I just wonder whether I'm going to get a lot of wear out of this once it's made. Do you know what I mean? Because I might kind of perceive it as a bit, because it's got like a little shine to it, whether I perceive it as a bit too dressy to be worn at other times. Whereas if I made it in something else, I wonder whether it might do other occasions more easily. Anyway, so that's the Mica. So the only way you can get that pattern now is if you join crew as an all access person, because you'll get last year's and this year's. I think that's right. So that is more expensive, but last year's patterns, the whole of last year's patterns, I thought were really good. This year we've come, they've got the Decades collection. I pay for my own subscription. I'm not sponsored in any way by anybody, well, apart from Kaylee. But if there's ever any money changed hands or any gift being given, you'll be aware of it. But so Closet Core don't give me anything. I've had no patterns from them. But the Decades of Style, I have a pattern from that later on in this. And that's kind of been a bit more Marmitey for me. I've not been as keen on those as I was as for the Stone collection, which was last year's collection, which were very kind of sleek and yes, very elegant and lovely. Anyway, so that's, the Closet Core Mica. So this, which is so lovely, I think this is from 2018. Maybe 2019. So this was my birthday fabric bought from the Draper's Daughter one year. This is a Nanny Aero cotton sateen, so it's really narrow, and then it has this massive selvage, which they say you're supposed to incorporate in, but obviously that might make even more difficult. I have 3 meters, so I'm hoping I have enough. I cut out the toile one out of just over 2 meters, but it was a wider fabric, not a full width fabric, but a wider fabric than this is. So the question is whether I can get it out. Now you can, that pattern, the Mica, you line it in, gives you the fabric requirements for lining it in the same fabric. So I suppose you could try and incorporate the selvage within that, or I could just use a white cotton lawn or a white viscose to line it with, and so that might work. But that there's something about that very elegant pattern and this very beautiful fabric that means that I think this might have the edge. But yes, let's hear what you've got to say. If you didn't want to join Closet Core and hadn't got that pattern already, then something like the Axis dress by Papercut Pattern would give a kind of similar vibe. There is another one as well, which might be a Tessuti one, but I looked and I couldn't remember easily what it was. But definitely the Papercut Axis, but I don't think that's got a splendid size range. I think that only goes up to about a size 20. Yeah, that's that one. So next I have jumpsuits, and I love a jumpsuit. You know what I'm like. I love dungarees. I love a jumpsuit. And I have a jumpsuit that I wore for the gathering the other week. And I'm sure if I've got a picture of me wearing it this time. So I made this, I think 3 or 4 years ago. I have it here to show you, but it is very crumpled. And this is the Spring jumpsuit by Soul of Patterns. And I did the long sleeved with the deep cuff with these lovely bronzy coloured buttons. It has a wide leg and a fitted waistband, and it has a zip that goes to kind of mid back and then a gap before the button at the top. And I love this. I love this. I love it. I've worn it a few times now to different occasions, and I feel very elegant in it. It fits really nicely. I can dance in it. Yeah, there's nothing not to like about it. So I am severely tempted to make another one. Now it does come in a grown-on sleeve bodice as well. I'll put a picture here if I have got one. Now this one is too small for me now because I made it the year I ran a marathon. So I'm no longer that shape. But I've kept it because I love it. And I'm kind of thinking about maybe either doing I just think that perhaps the one with the grown-on sleeve bodice doesn't feel quite as dressy as the one with the sleeves. But because it's May time, I don't know whether I'm going to want the one with the sleeves. And the fabric that I had in mind for making that out of is this, which is a Nerida Hanson cotton sateen, which is a lovely blue colour. But like I say, I think I'm kind of just hesitating about making those long sleeves. There is a dress version of that pattern, which I also have, which I think I was a tester for the dress version, which has a kind of poofy sleeve with an elastic that comes at the elbow. And so you could always put that sleeve onto the jumpsuit, so it would feel a bit more kind of summery, I suppose. But I'm not completely convinced. I think if I make the jumpsuit, I probably will just do it with the grown-on sleeve, and then I'm not quite sure whether it feels dressy enough. So that's the Spring jumpsuit. And then I have a closet core standard pattern. So the closet core Joe is a really interesting jumpsuit or dress pattern with a crescent sleeve. It has these bias bound slot finished sleeves which have a very kind of structural shape, which is a grown-on sleeve. And the material that I bought to do this, so I bought this specifically to make that jumpsuit out of, is this Dashwood cotton linen blend, which I've had for a couple of years. I think came from Kaylee at Fleurotters, paid for with my own money, and it has these little metallic raindrops in it. And this is a cotton linen Dashwood. It's a really nice fabric, and I think would really look lovely with those shoulders. And I think if I made the Joe dress, that would feel very elegant. But again, it kind of feels a bit like single occasion. Whereas I think if I make the jumpsuit, that might get a bit more wear out of it. I am keen to make this up, and I think the only thing I'm hesitating about is it has like meters and I think like 7 meters or something of bias binding to do, because you bias bind the front bodice piece and the back bodice piece, and then you sew them with a piece of fabric underneath them. It's a really interesting construction. But yes, I'm wondering whether we might be a bit tight on time for me, because I will have to toile that. But whether we're a bit tight on time for this. I watched a really interesting vlog by Christine, who's the Gemini Stitcher, and she did a pattern review from last year sometime, I think. So she talks all about the Joe dress. So I shall link her channel down below, but I'm sure you will follow her anyway. But yes, that's the Dashwood linen. And the other jumpsuit that I have in my brain kicking about is one that I was thinking about making of this lovely Mind the Maker khaki coloured viscose twill. And that's the Closet Core Sigourney, which again is another Crew pattern, and that's from January of this year. So again, the only way to get that would be to do an all access. But I mean, there are quite a lot of similar kinds of jumpsuits about. I mean, even doing the Zadie or something similar would give you that kind of wrap jumpsuit look to it. So there's a few jumpsuit patterns out, and I had a Fibremood one that I can't remember the name of as well. But yeah, so I think I might make this anyway because I really like the idea of having a kind of fling on jumpsuit with a collar and a slightly narrower leg, which is what the Sigourney is like. And I think this will sew up beautifully. And would be something that you could wear that for any occasion. If you stuck it on with your pumps, you'd be grand for kicking about. And if you put it on with heels, you'd look very glamorous. So there's that one. And the other thing that has been mooching about in my brain is, well, there's two. So the first is this jumpsuit. So this is an advanced, plus difficile Vogue. I am determined that at some point I will make this. I've even bought it in. I kind of crossed over into the second size band this year, like within the last year. And so I bought the second size band. I don't have the original fabric that I was going to make that with, but I do have another fabric which I think would really work. And that is this. This is from Fabworks, and it is a wool suiting. And I think this would look stunning as that jumpsuit. I'm just put off because it says advanced. And I know you're always going to say, I mean, I've sewn a lot of things. I haven't met a pattern that I haven't managed to sew so far. But yeah, there's a lot of people on the internet who say it's really difficult. So yes, I'm a bit nervy about it. The fabric that I had to make it in originally is nearly the same as this. It's like, but more of a green tint, and it's a merino wool suiting. But I thought it would look a bit tame for a Frocktails event, whereas seeing this would look really interesting. Or the other one that I've got kicking about, hang on, should just lean past you, is this. Now, you can't say this is tame, can you? This is a wool crepe. And this was bought to be this dress, which is the Vogue 1671, which I bought the same time as I bought that. And I think that must be at least 6 years ago that I bought the original patterns. And I wanted to make this longer, the midi version, in this very, very pink. Now, I'm not sure now whether I like this pink on me. It is very beautiful cloth, and it was really expensive. And so I need to kind of make a decision. I mean, the jumpsuit would look fairly spectacular in it as well. But yeah, I'm not going to be cutting into that until I've done a little bit of prep. Now, the other idea that was kicking around was a two-piece. And I did speak earlier in the year about doing a blazer, but actually I think because we're summertime, I'm thinking trousers and a waistcoat. So the trousers I've mentioned before, which is the Bella Loves Patterns Billy trousers, and I have those printed out, ready to go, ready to twirl, and I think they'll be getting made anyway. But the problem was that this is what I was going to make those in. So then my brain is like jumped on this potentially being that jumpsuit, and so now I don't want to make the billies. So help me know what to do. This was going to be the billies, and then if I had any left over, the plan was to either make a Pompon waistcoat, which is my favourite waistcoat pattern so far, or this vintage Vogue pattern with that kind of long line. I think that one, but I'm not sure. I'll see if I can show you. That's the line drawings for that. I just thought they were quite interesting compared to like a standard waistcoat pattern. I thought that would look quite nice. And then potentially you could wear that without anything underneath it, or you could wear it with a dress shirt underneath it. But yes, that was going to be made of this lovely wool suiting, which came from Fabworks Mill. So that's me. So we have fancy frilly dresses, we have sleek dresses, we have jumpsuits, and I have a two-piece. So go on, give me some help. I don't know. So the things I've twirled, just for kind of full disclosure, I have twirled the bodice of the mica, and I have got the mica cut out in a wearable twirl fabric. I have cut out the a non-wearable toile, so like just a down dirty toile of the Bella Loves Patterns Billies, and that is as far as I have got. I've watched some vlogs which have made me very frightened of this one again, but I think I have to kind of commit to do this regardless, even if it doesn't end up being for Frocktails. So yes, let me know what you think. Are you going to Welsh Frocktails? Let me know if you're going to Frocktails. I think it's going to be very exciting, and I can't wait to go on tour. And if push came to shove, I do have other items that I could wear. I could just wear that Fibremood green dress again, couldn't I? And that would be fine. Oh, I haven't told you what I'm wearing. I am wearing Me Made. This is, I've forgotten the name. I shall link my Ravelry page down below. This is the first sweater I've ever made, and as soon as I cast it off, as soon as I finished knitting it, the sun just came out. It was 18 degrees for about 10 days in the middle of April. So yes, so everybody is asking me to cast on another knitting project as soon as possible. I got this free via Chloe Knits, so I shall link her, if I can remember, find the vlog, I'll link her vlog down below. But and the pattern is from Espace Tricot, who are a Canadian wool company, wool shop, and they do patterns. So yes, this is a very easy knit. It's top down, it's raglan sleeved, and it's very cozy because it is a little bit chilly here in North Yorkshire today. So that's it from me today. I hope that you have been finding time to rest and replenish and do some making if that's something that brings you joy. I am just about to record the final part of my Dress for Fleuretteurs series, because the dress is done and it's been worn, so that's quite exciting. So that shall be up very soon, and I shall see you again with another video shortly. Take care, God bless, bye bye.